Hey guys, what's up? Coattail Trader here from coattailtrader.com, bringing you Friday's action. Today is June 7th, 2013. So pretty interesting day in the markets, at least from the start, but then price kind of slipped off. Usually that's kind of what happens on Friday, but let's jump into it right away. So if you'll notice, we had some information that was coming out today. We had the payroll information, the unemployment rate also was coming out today. So the unemployment rate actually ticked down ticked up 0.1% from 7.5% to 7.6. But the actual unemployment rate numbers came out better than expected, so it was kind of conflicting information. As you can see, the markets reacted, in that exact fashion. Couldn't decide whether they wanted to be positive on the news or negative. News came out right here, so it actually took the market a couple minutes to decide what it was going to do. Looks like it was starting to go down, and then you can see this huge, this candle. That's a 13-point move in 1 minute. So the market moved 13 points in basically 1 minute's time. As you can see, it came all the way up. Not surprisingly, look where it stopped. It came up right to our exact level, to the tick, came down, broke these two levels, but couldn't stay there, and then closed right here. Market came back down, as you can see, well outside of our bands that we watch. So there would have been no trade again. I don't usually trade. For one, I basically never trade news, and two, I hardly ever trade before the market actually opens, just because of the volatility and stuff can be pretty interesting. But as you can see, a lot of times these levels work in the pre-market as well. I mean, you can see here, could have got a bounce trade off this one, and I don't know if you would have been taken out here. Actually, yes, you would have been taken out here, because again, news 10 minutes after the news numbers like that, you'd probably want to wait at least 15, if not 20 minutes before trading anything like that. Just there's so much that those are big numbers that people watch. So you could see if you would have taken that one, obviously you would have gotten stopped out. But then you got another one right here that actually would have worked out pretty well. But so the market, went up and kind of dragged down. We were coming off of a pretty good day yesterday, and I want to switch to that here for a second. Let's see. I believe this one. Yeah. So in the video I made yesterday, if you watch it, you'll notice, again, I was pretty much right on the money when I said when the market opened, I expected price to come up into into this area here, and that's exactly what it's done. It bounced off the 50-day moving average. Now, even though I said this was going to happen, that doesn't mean I also said that it probably might test this level again, if not coming back further. A lot of times before markets, a lot of times they don't just shoot straight up or shoot straight down. A lot of times they have pullbacks and things along the way. So, you have a pullback here, another couple down days, you got a pullback here. This is a pretty good pullback, actually. Probably, though, because it was bouncing off of here. As you can see, the same thing happened here. We had a down move, we had a pullback, and then we had a down move right to the level again. And then it shot all the way back up, pull back, and then shoot up. So you can see it never just shoots straight up. So just because price comes up here doesn't mean it's not going to come all the way back down here. I would expect a test maybe of this 50-day again next week, or we could possibly retest these levels here. It's going to be between this and this is where we're going to see what happens. Let's move back to the chart. So we saw the market was kind of moving steadily. I was waiting for the market to open right here. Market opened right here. It opened right at my level. This would have been an indication of a short trade for me. Now, the reason I didn't trade right here is because for two reasons. One, during this time right here, if you watch the dome, if you watch this thing, you see how these orders are kind of light right now. 300 by 100. 600 by 700. That may seem like a lot, but during normal trading hours in the morning when the first opens, like right now, it's already 1 o'clock in the afternoon in New York. So many traders are done for the weekend. That's it. They're done for they're done for the week. They're done. They're closing out all their positions. They're leaving, going down the shore or going to the beach or wherever they're going. So not a lot of contracts on here. Typically, most of these levels during the day, Monday through Thursday, are at about 1,000 or more. So right now you can see just a very, very thin market. So a lot of times when the market, when it starts to get like 625, 626, you start to see this thing fill up a little bit more. You start to see more 900s, 1,000, 800, stuff like that. And then, of course, now there's a lot of overnight orders that are placed. So when the market first opens, that's why oftentimes you'll see these big candles on the first one or two candles of the market, because a lot of overnight orders that are just sitting there that they don't trade until the market actually opens, those all have to get executed first, and it causes big fluctuation. So not usually a good idea to trade off the first minute, especially because all the overnight orders have to get taken care of before trading, before the actual trading begins. And a lot of times there's just you get whipsawed like crazy. In this case, I believe it would have worked even if you would have gotten in this one. Yeah, you would not have gotten stopped out. Now, if you'll notice, so I did wait a couple minutes, and I even was hesitant on trading here just because it was still less than 5 minutes into the Friday. But I did see, we had a signal here. I had a pullback to my target, and then it's set up right here. Now, if you'll notice my entry and exit, I did get the optimum entry here. I got in at 31 even. The problem is the price when this was happening. The reason I got out only 3 ticks instead of 4 is that when I first got filled, it was going so far, it was whipping like crazy. I mean, it had hit my target before I even got a chance to click it. After I got the trade, it immediately was going down and up and down and up. I mean, it was going so fast. I went over to the level and I just hit buy so I could put my order, and it just happened to be the price ticked down, so it wound up taking me out. I got my 3 ticks of profit, so I was happy. But I wanted to get 4. I mean, it was just the price was this ladder, this thing right here was just going nuts. I mean, it was basically going like this is what happens when price goes crazy. It starts moving up and down. It's not steady like this. So when this was happening, I was like, holy crap! And I was trying to go over here and get some things going, and the price kept jumping around. So I clicked 1 tick above my target, and it just immediately took me out, which is fine. Some profits are better than no profits. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's what happened with this one. So I was waiting. I expected a pullback to this level. That it started to happen, but it didn't get within my reach, so I didn't get this one. I saw price coming out of my area here, so I was really hoping for a bounce trade off this one. Fridays are really tricky just because a lot of people don't trade on Fridays. The movement can be very crazy at times. So it started to get down to my level, but it didn't make it. It was a few ticks. It was about a point almost 2 points away, so I missed that one. Would have been a nice signal, had you been able to take it. I don't believe you would have been able to get the trade. I don't think you would have been stopped out on that one, but I'll have to check here in a minute and see. So, again, had you been taking this one, I believe you may have actually been stopped out. No, you would have been okay. You would not have gotten stopped out, but then, again, this is not an optimal signal. So then what happened was, and one thing I forgot to do, typically when when I'm watching the overnight session, I go into my extended trading hours. I actually forgot to move it back into regular trading hours. So I was watching this. I saw this candle come and break my level. It definitely would have been a nice trade here because it did break by a whole point. But again, it came right outside of the band, so I said no. Now this was an excellent bounce trade right here, but I saw it again touching the bands. Now because I forgot to change the look of the chart, and this would have actually set me up for a pretty good one, and I'll show you what I mean here. Let's see. So if we go and we do this, you can see how the bands will change. Let me go back to that area. So you can see right here, see this is the same signal right here. Now you'll notice it's not out of the bands, so this one actually would have been a nice trade to get into just off this signal. Had you have taken it, you would have probably gotten filled down here, I'm assuming, and you wouldn't have gotten. You might have actually gotten stopped out too, because if you'll notice, the price comes down, it gets you in, at 34, and price did actually come down to your 2-point stop level. So you probably would have gotten in, or you would have gotten stopped out. Now for this one, that's why when this happened, when I saw this, I didn't take it. But it would have been a nice signal, and then I would have waited for the bounce. I don't really like trading this close to the band, so I would have waited. Again, if is going to go where you think it's going to go, you should get the bounce trade. And if you miss it, hey, there's always tomorrow, or there's always the next time. So you can see that exactly happened. We broke through, so the bounce trade was canceled after this happened. Saw it come back down. Was wondering if it was going to break down and come back, but then we got our long signal right here. Again, I didn't take it because I forgot to change the chart, and it took it. It was. Let me go back and show you. So you see how it looks on this one. And let me go back here and show you why I missed it. So you can see here it is right here. So it was outside of the band here, and then it was basically, it had come outside of the band here, so I didn't take it because it was too close. And I just figured I would wait, for a pullback and then a bounce. Well, that never happened, and then as you can see, after basically this move, nothing happened from basically about 7:10 to all the way to 8:30. So I mean, I saw just meandered between these two levels. Couldn't decide which way it wanted to go. Never got any bounce trades. So right at about 8 o'clock, when I saw this just keep going, I said, all right, I guess I'm just gonna have to call it a day. It's Friday. Friday is a whole different animal. There's just so much volatility that can happen in a day and a second because a lot of traders are gone, so it takes less to move prices. And then, of course, as Murphy's Law states, as soon as you stop trading, your entry comes about, which it happened right here. You got a bounce trade. This was not a signal because it didn't close. It closed here. The next candle would have been a signal. That didn't happen. Here's your bounce trade right here. Came up. This doesn't count. This is your signal. This is your confirmation. Would have gotten in, and then you would have gotten your nice point. Just going through the rest of the day so far, just trying to see what it looks like here. So we can see it looks like price came down, was trying to come down to another level, but couldn't quite reach the level. Missed it by a point, so that one didn't happen. And again, I mean, just look at these bands. What happens when price comes out? It goes back up. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways to trade this method, but the way I trade it, it has to come down close enough for me to get a bounce off of that. So as you can see, again, price still meandering around these two levels. Can't decide what it wants to do. We've basically had hardly any movement from 7:10 all the way until what time is it? 10 o'clock. So it's like 3 hours where it's just been meandering between these two prices. That's only, let's see, 42 to 33. So it's a 9-point range right now, which on a Friday is not uncommon. So that's it for the day. If you have any questions, please leave comments in the comments section under the video here. Visit my website, coattailtrader.com. Follow me on Facebook. And follow me on Twitter at CoattailTrader. You can also email me with any questions. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Good trading.